My parents have never let me look at my reflection in still water. I just found out the horrifying reason why. Pools were fine. Bathtubs were fine. Running rivers and ocean waves were fine. But ponds, lakes, puddles after rain, any water that sat perfectly still and mirrored back your face, I wasn't allowed near them. If we walked past a fountain that wasn't running, Mom would steer me away. If we visited a park with a decorative pond, Dad would suddenly remember somewhere else we needed to be. When I was 7, I leaned over a bird bath in our backyard to look at my reflection. Mom screamed so loud the neighbors called the police. She couldn't explain why. She just held me and sobbed for an hour. I stopped asking questions after that. I just accepted that still water was forbidden. Last month, I was cleaning out the attic to help my parents downsize. Dad's hip surgery meant they couldn't manage the stairs anymore. I found a box taped shut with my mother's handwriting on it. Do not open. I opened it. Inside were newspaper clippings, a death certificate, photos of a toddler I didn't recognize, and a small urn I didn't know existed. The death certificate had my last name. The date of birth was identical to mine. The name was Iris. My name is Ivy. I brought the box downstairs. My parents were sitting in the living room. When they saw what I was holding, my mother started crying before I could speak. You had a twin, Dad said quietly. Her name was Iris. I sat down slowly. A twin. A sister who shared my birthday. Someone I'd never known existed. She died when you were both 2.5. We were at your grandmother's house. She had a koi pond in the backyard, shallow, maybe 18 inches deep. We thought it was safe. Mom took over, her voice breaking. You girls loved that pond. You'd sit at the edge and watch the fish for hours. That day, Iris was leaning over the water, looking at her reflection. She loved seeing herself in the water. She'd wave at herself, talk to herself, laugh at her own face staring back. She wiped her eyes. I turned away for 30 seconds, maybe less. When I looked back, she was face down in the water, completely still, like she'd leaned too far trying to touch her own reflection and just slipped in. Dad held Mom's hand. The doctor said she'd been under for less than a minute, but it was enough. She never woke up, drowned in 18 inches of water while her twin sister sat 3 feet away playing with grass. I looked at the urn, my sister, reduced to ashes in a box that had been hidden in an attic for 23 years. Why didn't you tell me? Because you were there, Mom said. You were sitting right beside her when it happened. You watched us pull her out. You watched us try to bring her back. You screamed for hours asking where Iris went. She squeezed my hand. The therapist said you'd eventually forget. Toddlers don't form permanent memories. Within a year, you stopped asking about her. You stopped remembering you'd ever had a sister. But you remembered. Every single day. Every time I looked at you, I saw her too. Identical faces, identical laughs. Sometimes you'd make an expression and I'd forget which daughter I was looking at. It was like being haunted by a ghost who was still alive. She touched my face. The still water rule wasn't superstition. It was survival. I couldn't watch you lean over a pond and see your reflection, because all I could see was Iris, leaning over that koi pond, reaching for her own face, falling forward into 18 inches of water that might as well have been an ocean. I understood now. Every forbidden puddle, every avoided pond, every panicked reaction to still water. My mother hadn't been protecting me from drowning. She'd been protecting herself from reliving the worst moment of her life. Where is she? Iris? The cemetery on Maple Street, plot 247. We visit every year on your birthday. We always tell you we're running errands. You've been visiting her grave on my birthday for 23 years? It's her birthday too. We couldn't let it pass without acknowledging her. But we couldn't explain to you why Mommy and Daddy needed to disappear for 2 hours every year. Dad pulled out a photo from the box. 2 toddlers sitting by a pond. Identical dresses. Identical smiles. One of them was me. One of them was Iris. I couldn't tell which was which. This was taken an hour before she died. It's the last photo of you together. I held the photo and cried for a sister I'd played with, grown with, and watched die without ever remembering any of it. We visit Iris together now. Every birthday. Every Christmas. I bring flowers and talk to a headstone that's been there my whole life without me knowing. Last week I stood at the edge of her grave during a rainstorm. A puddle formed on the stone. I saw my reflection in the still water. For a moment I pretended it was her looking back. 2 sisters. 1 reflection. 23 years apart. I don't avoid still water anymore. Now when I see my face in a quiet pond, I wave, just in case Iris can see me waving back.